Hey there guys, welcome to the second episode of the Overwatch Lookout. As I said last week, this video footage is old and it's going to be repetitive. I'm trying to move videos around, keep it looking quote unquote fresh, but don't expect much to happen until the beta returns and I get in it or the game comes out. Don't expect new footage from me. Hopefully I get into the beta to get you guys some new stuff to look at. Otherwise, we're just going to go to a static image or stuff from Blizzard itself. But I doubt I don't want to do that. I don't want to push the envelope. Anyways, so what we're going to talk about in this episode, again, we're just going to look at some of the history of Overwatch, as well as we're going to look at some minor news, things that, you know, are surprising, I guess you could say. I don't know. And by minor news, we'll go ahead and get that out of the way. This is, you know how they say, no news is good news? Well, in video game and waiting on this, no news is, well, no news. And there's nothing from the Overwatch camp, nothing that I could find that was out of the ordinary. I even went so far as to search Google News to find anything. And all it talks about is how there was one on the 8th, so just about 3 days ago? Yeah, it was 3 days ago. Well, from this recording it was 3 days ago. From this video it was almost 5. Whatever. Doesn't matter. All it talks about is how Blizzard turned a costly failure into the highly anticipated Overwatch. Which is what I was going to talk about anyways. So, coincidence? I think not. It's a conspiracy. They got bugs planted in my head or something. I don't believe that. I really don't. Anyways, let's talk about some minor information. And this is information that came out over a month ago. Just a developer update from the 7th of December. I'm using Overpwn as they like to put all the information nice and neat. And so, anyways, so heroes and maps, they feel like the 21 heroes currently in the game are playing really, really well. The current hero set is well balanced, fun, and unique. There are more ideas in place for new maps and heroes, and as we know, there will be free content for that if they do it. But there's no exact timeline for new heroes being added to the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if it takes maybe 6 months and they add like 2 or 3 new heroes. And then another maybe 3 months, add another hero, something like that. You don't need to. I don't think you need to do like Heroes of the Storm, put a new hero up every month. 21 heroes for a first-person shooter. That's pretty good. So, interface options, ideas that they're tossing around. A music volume slider will be added to the game. It's implemented internally. A play sound and background option will be added to the game. There's a lot of information available on the kill cams, and they understand people want to be able to skip the kill cam. An option will be available to disable the kill cam, which is nice. More information on who is alive and dead will be available without pressing tab. They're working on solidifying how a kill feed will work in Overwatch. And then scoring objectives. End of round cards are a cool system, but it isn't fully fleshed out. Cards' appearances are being more balanced out. An upcoming update will add objective scores to defending teams. They're currently not planning a lot of changes for the scoreboard, and being on fire isn't very reliable. You can't always tell who's the biggest threat, and they're working on tuning that. So yeah, this was just before the beta ended, the closed beta. They have said that they were looking into update, putting out more invites, of course, because, I mean, come on. You gotta get more people into this game. It's a fantastic game. I loved the 3 days I got to play with it, but even then, it was just having such a small selection. It can be a little daunting, so, yeah. So let's go ahead and get a little bit into the history of Overwatch and where it came from. And it basically stems from, and I know it's going to sound really, really dumb, and we all know it comes from the Project Titan that Blizzard was working on. So, to know the history of Overwatch, we have to know the history of Project Titan, or Titan. Now, Titan was canceled way back in 2014, so about 2 years ago. But we have to go back 7 years prior to that. So, using Wikipedia, because God knows it's the easiest thing to find this information, I'm just going to read verbatim what it says. So, this is none of mine, but I will give my thoughts in between each, I guess you can call, bullet point. So, in 2007, users on a Blizzard internet forum speculated that the game was in development after the company published job listings for character and environment artists to work on a, quote, next-gen MMO, end quote, that was, quote, top secret, end quote. A Blizzard community representative confirmed that the postings were for an unannounced game that was not an expansion for World of Warcraft. Activision Blizzard CEO Bobby Kotick, Blizzard COO Paul Sams, and Blizzard CEO Mike Morhaime all verified that it was a new game in 2008, so now we're up to 2008. A confidential project schedule was released without the company's consent in November 2010. It showed a project titled Titan with a release date in the fourth quarter of 2013. Blizzard China's general manager either resigned or was terminated after that leak. At the 2010 Spike Video Game Awards, Blizzard co-founder Frank Pierce told gaming blog Destructoid that the studio had begun talking about the title as a recruitment tool. Morhaime spoke of the game in broad terms during a panel discussion at the 2011 DICE Summit, so we're now up to 2011, which was just 5 years ago. He said that the company had its most experienced MMO developers working on the project. He explained that they were using lessons from the years of working on World of Warcraft, and also emphasized the significance of players gaming with people they know as opposed to strangers. Morhaime believed that World of Warcraft and Titan, upon its release, would be able to coexist on the market, which it would. If we look at other games on the MMO market, they do coexist. Of course, a lot of them went free to play. Back in 2008, he made a similar statement when he told Wired magazine that the game would be so different that it would not compete. Again, we find out more about what the game was, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. In an interview with Gamasutra in March 2011, Sands revealed that the game was playable and laid out a vision of the project to still be growing, quote, still be growing strong, end quote, in 10, 15, or 20 years, having, quote, set a new mark in the industry, end quote. By September 2012, development had grown from small teams focusing on concepts to a team over 100 people, and Blizzard Vice President of Game Design Rob Pardo said that the game was, quote, in the middle of development, end quote, noting that it would be a, quote, very big project that's got a long ways to go, end quote. On March 28, 2013, so now we're almost 6 months later, it was reported that development on the project had been rebooted, with 70% of the team moving to other Blizzard projects and the release date delayed. Blizzard spokesperson Sean Damron, I don't know, I'm saying it wrong, confirmed the development status, stating that the remaining core developers would be working to accommodate new technology into the game. In August 2013, Blizzard President Mike Morhaime stated that the company was in the process of selecting a new direction for the project and re-envisioning what they want the game to be. He said that the game was, quote, unlikely to be a subscription-based MMORPG, end quote, which is what I was saying earlier. A lot of MMOs have gone this free-to-play model, and Titan initially was going to be that. And that there were no official announced or projected release dates, While Titan was reassessed, team members were shifted to other Blizzard projects, including World of Warcraft and Heroes of the Storm. Morhaime noted that Blizzard has gone through this sort of iterative development process with previous games. Struggle with that word. On September 23, 2014, Morhaime revealed in an interview with Polygon that production of Titan had been cancelled. So at this point, Titan is no more. But this piece comes out. Shortly after the cancellation announcement, Kotaku ran an article in which they described the game as, quote, a massive multiplayer PC game in which players could both maintain non-combat professions and shoot their way through death matches on a sci-fi version of Earth, end quote. According to the article, which was sourced by anonymous employees who worked on the project, the game would take place on a near-future Earth where the player could take on a, quote, mundane job, end quote, during the day while fighting enemies at night. On November 7th, 2014, Blizzard announced Overwatch. So, not long after they canceled Titan, Overwatch is announced. Overwatch, a new multiplayer first-person shooter. Chris Metzen stated that Overwatch incorporates elements such as maps that were originally intended for Titan, but the games are otherwise unrelated. I call bullshit, Mr. Metzen. Not complete, but close enough. Obviously, as we can see from the history of Titan, it was supposed to be a huge game. And Overwatch pretty much took everything that Titan almost wanted to, what they wanted Titan to be. The rumors that it was going to be a first-person MMO, and that they would that you would go around on a near-future Earth, and yeah, that's pretty much what Overwatch is. Only it went from first-person FPS to first-person FPS, first-person or an MMO FPS to just an FPS with team-based objectives. Now, there's obviously not going to be any story mode or storyline or campaign mode. They've already said that with Overwatch. There will be no campaign mode, but the story is going to be told through the maps and things like that. So the gameplay is going to be a little bit different than what everybody is used to, because they're going to be, you know, everybody's used to with Blizzard it being a top-down RTS or a kind of top-down RTS, or the top-down RPG, or the MMO RPG. Even Heroes is based off of the StarCraft 2 engine, so it's a MOBA, and that was new territory for them. Now they're on even bigger territory by going into this FPS system. So this should prove to be rather interesting, but it's cool to see the Titanic upbringing, if you will, where it came from. You know, pretty much everything that Project Titan was supposed to be, it's here in Overwatch in some form or another. The fact that you select your character, the fact that you can switch between your characters, the first-person shooter aspect, the near future of Earth. They were even talking about it being like a superhero, almost like game, and that's where, you know, you could see that coming from. Even in World of Warcraft, you're the almighty hero. You're the one who protects the realm. And with MMOs, that's what it is. And you can even see that here a little bit by having to select a hero. So it's really cool to see the background of it, get a little bit of the history. And that's what this episode was all about. It was just seeing the history of Overwatch. Now, starting next week, we're going to start doing some character backgrounds. Unless the beta comes back. If the beta comes back. And then we're going to do that. We'll also do news, if there's any news, things like that. So on the 20th, we will expect to see news, character backgrounds, if there is any news. If no news, then we'll just focus on character backgrounds. If there's news, we'll have like 2 character backgrounds. If there's no news, then we'll focus on 3 character backgrounds. So, see, we'll have some of that done. And we'll just go alphabetically, for God's sakes, because it'll just be easier that way. Or maybe I'll make a list and just choose them randomly. I don't know. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching the Overwatch Lookout. Of course, this is a kind of podcast, I guess you could say, in which I talk about news, history, as well as my opinions about Overwatch. As always, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, and favorite below, and share, and comment, and do all that other stuff. I don't know. There's so many things that you can do. Just do it. Do all of it. As always, I am EctoMaster, and I will see you guys next time.
Locked and loaded.
が我が敵を